María Corina Machado is one of the most recognized political figures in Venezuela's recent history. Known for her strong opposition to authoritarianism, her fearless advocacy for democracy, and her unyielding voice in one of Latin America's most politically turbulent nations. Born on October 7, 1967, in Caracas, Venezuela, she grew up in a family that valued civic duty, education, and the belief that one individual can stand up against injustice. Over the years, María Corina Machado became a symbol of courage and persistence in the face of overwhelming political pressure. Her story is one of conviction, challenge, and the pursuit of freedom in a nation that has endured years of economic and political crisis. From her early involvement in civil society to her rise as a national political leader, her journey reflects both the struggle and the resilience of the Venezuelan people who continue to fight for democratic change. Machado studied industrial engineering at the prestigious Universidad Católica Andrés Bello in Caracas, a foundation that shaped her analytical approach to problem-solving and policy-making. Later, she pursued further education at Yale University, where she gained international exposure and developed a broader understanding of democratic institutions and governance. Her early career was not rooted in traditional politics, but in social activism, particularly through an organization she co-founded called civic. This non-governmental organization became widely known for promoting civic participation, election monitoring, and transparency in the Venezuelan electoral process. civic played a crucial role in encouraging Venezuelans to engage in democratic activities at a time when many were losing faith in their institutions. The organization became internationally recognized, receiving support from democracy advocates worldwide, and María Corina Machado emerged as one of its most visible and articulate leaders. However, her activism also made her a target of the government. During the presidency of Hugo Chavez, she was often accused of being aligned with foreign interests and faced various legal and political challenges for her outspoken criticism of the administration. Despite the intimidation and accusations, she remained firm in her belief that Venezuela's future depended on free elections and the restoration of democratic principles. In 2010, María Corina Machado ran for a seat in the National Assembly and won with one of the highest vote totals in the country, representing the state of Miranda. Her victory was seen as a sign of hope for many Venezuelans who longed for change and transparency. As a deputy in the National Assembly, she became a sharp critic of the Chavez government, frequently clashing with officials over human rights, economic mismanagement, and the centralization of power. Her debates in Parliament often went viral across social media and news outlets, as she fearlessly confronted government representatives with data, reason, and moral conviction. Machado's speeches were characterized by a mix of passion and intellect, where she would call for unity among opposition parties and demand accountability from those in power. Her political philosophy has always been grounded in liberal democratic values, the belief in individual freedom, private property, free markets, and the rule of law. Unlike many traditional politicians, Machado has positioned herself as a reformist who rejects populism, insisting that sustainable progress can only come from empowering citizens, not controlling them. As Venezuela's economic and political crisis deepened, especially after the death of Hugo Chavez and the rise of Nicolas Maduro, María Corina Machado's prominence grew even further. She became one of the leading figures of the opposition movement, calling for peaceful protests, international attention, and a clear strategy to restore democracy. In 2014, when massive demonstrations erupted across Venezuela in what became known as the La Salida movement, she played a major role in supporting citizens' rights to protest and express discontent. However, her participation in these protests led to harsh consequences. In March 2014, she was expelled from the National Assembly by the government, accused of violating the Constitution after she accepted an invitation to speak before the Organization of American States, OAS, about the situation in Venezuela. Her expulsion was widely criticized both nationally and internationally as a political maneuver to silence dissenting voices. Despite losing her seat, María Corina Machado refused to step back. Instead, she intensified her activism, becoming a central figure in organizing opposition coalitions and speaking out about human rights abuses, political prisoners, and the humanitarian crisis affecting millions of Venezuelans. Through her political movement, Vent Venezuela, which she founded, Machado has continued to push for democratic restoration. Vent Venezuela advocates for free elections, economic reforms, and the re-establishment of the rule of law. It promotes values of individual liberty, entrepreneurship, and modernization, appealing particularly to young Venezuelans and the middle class who have grown tired of years of instability. As a woman in Venezuelan politics, Machado has also broken barriers. In a landscape dominated historically by male figures, she stands as a symbol of female leadership and empowerment. Her charisma, eloquence, and uncompromising integrity have made her a respected figure not just in Venezuela, but across Latin America, where many see her as a voice of resistance against authoritarian regimes. She has often stated that her motivation comes not from ambition, but from a deep love for her country and a sense of duty toward future generations. Over the years, María Corina Machado has faced numerous threats, travel bans, and restrictions imposed by authorities. She has been accused of conspiracy and other political crimes, charges that many human rights organizations and observers see as attempts to neutralize her influence. Nevertheless, she has always maintained a nonviolent stance, emphasizing that the Venezuelan struggle is moral and civic, not military. Her speeches are filled with optimism and conviction, reminding her followers that freedom requires persistence and courage. Internationally, she has been recognized by various organizations for her defense of democracy and human rights. She has met with global leaders, participated in international forums, and consistently urged the world to pay attention to the suffering of Venezuelans, millions of whom have been forced to migrate due to the economic collapse. Her resilience has inspired countless Venezuelans inside and outside the country. Even as the government tried to disqualify her from holding office, including her 2023 disqualification from running in the presidential primaries, she continued to organize, mobilize, and encourage the opposition movement. Her stance has always been that democracy is not just about elections, but about the right to choose, to speak freely, and to live with dignity. In recent years, as international attention returned to Venezuela's crisis, María Corina Machado became one of the leading opposition candidates, symbolizing hope for a democratic transition. Her popularity surged, and many citizens rallied behind her call for unity and change. Her campaign focused on rebuilding Venezuela's economy, restoring trust in institutions, and re-establishing international relationships based on respect and cooperation. She spoke often about the need to rebuild not only infrastructure, but also moral and social trust within the nation. Her vision for Venezuela is one where innovation, education, and opportunity replace corruption, fear, and dependency. She has proposed policies that prioritize the private sector, reduce government overreach, and open the country to investment and development. Yet she also emphasizes the importance of social responsibility, arguing that a nation's true strength lies in its people's well-being and empowerment. What makes María Corina Machado's story so compelling is not just her political ideas, but her personal courage. She has faced harassment, censorship, and even physical attacks during protests, yet she continues to speak openly and fearlessly. Her voice resonates with many Venezuelans who see in her the embodiment of resistance, someone who refuses to give up even when the odds are against her. Through years of adversity, she has shown what it means to be a leader driven by conviction rather than convenience. Her message transcends political divisions and appeals to universal values: freedom, justice, and human dignity. For many Venezuelans who have left the country, she represents the dream of returning home to a Venezuela that is free and prosperous once again. Her persistence keeps alive the idea that change is still possible, even after years of struggle. María Corina Machado's speeches are often emotional, filled with references to Venezuela's rich cultural history and the sacrifices of those who have fought for its freedom. She frequently mentions Simón Bolívar, the liberator of Latin America, as a reminder that Venezuelans have always been capable of overcoming tyranny. Her rhetoric blends patriotism with practicality, inspiring hope while laying out concrete steps toward recovery. She envisions a future where Venezuela becomes a model of democracy in the region once again, a country that contributes to peace, innovation, and progress in Latin America. Throughout her career, Machado has built bridges with other opposition figures, though not without tensions. The Venezuelan opposition is a diverse coalition, often fragmented by strategy and ideology, but she has repeatedly called for unity based on principles rather than convenience. She has argued that the only way to achieve lasting change is through honesty, coherence, and shared purpose. Even when some opposition members have sought negotiations with the government, she has maintained that any dialogue must be rooted in genuine respect for constitutional order and human rights. Her clarity on these issues has earned her both admiration and criticism, but it has also reinforced her reputation as one of the few Venezuelan politicians who never compromises her principles. Beyond politics, María Corina Machado is also a mother and an advocate for the role of women in building societies. She often speaks about the importance of integrity, education, and courage in raising future generations. Her personal life has remained relatively private, but her resilience in balancing family with political struggle has made her relatable to many Venezuelan women who juggle enormous responsibilities under difficult conditions. Her speeches frequently highlight the contributions of women in Venezuela's history, from independence to the modern-day resistance, acknowledging that their leadership and sacrifice are central to the nation's spirit. In 2023 and 2024, as Venezuela once again approached critical political crossroads, María Corina Machado continued to draw international attention. Her participation in the opposition primaries reignited hope across the country, leading to massive rallies and renewed civic engagement. Even when barred from official candidacy by authorities, she became a unifying force for democratic movements across Latin America. Many observers noted that her campaign was not merely political, but deeply symbolic, a declaration that the will of the people cannot be silenced indefinitely. Her story became part of a larger narrative about Latin America's ongoing struggle between democracy and authoritarianism, making her one of the most influential political voices in the region. As Venezuela looks toward the future, María Corina Machado stands as a reminder of what determination and moral integrity can achieve. Her journey shows that even in the darkest times, leadership guided by principles can inspire an entire nation. Whether or not she eventually holds the country's highest office, her influence is undeniable. She has already changed the political landscape by proving that honesty and courage can resonate more powerfully than propaganda or fear. Her life's work continues to inspire new generations of Venezuelans who dream of rebuilding their homeland. The story of María Corina Machado is not just the story of a politician. It is the story of resistance, hope, and the human spirit's refusal to surrender to oppression. It's a story that continues to unfold every day as millions of Venezuelans, inside and outside their homeland, look to her as a beacon of perseverance. Her voice echoes through every town, every diaspora community, and every international forum where the future of Venezuela is discussed. She reminds the world that democracy is fragile but worth fighting for, and that freedom is not given. It is earned through the courage of those willing to defend it. As Venezuela continues to face economic challenges, migration crises, and political uncertainty, María Corina Machado's unwavering stand offers not only political guidance, but also moral leadership. She represents a belief that one nation's rebirth begins with the courage of individuals who refuse to accept tyranny as destiny. Her journey remains one of the most compelling political stories of the 21st century, a narrative of resilience and conviction that continues to inspire people far beyond Venezuela's borders.